Oh, there you go.
Met your puppy last night.
Taylor?
Yeah.
The foundation.
Yeah, they got me. They got me.
Which one did you use? This one? Mike,
Well, not the turnout last time, so.
Wanna join?
the truss?
Trust me.
Yeah.
What up? Scholarship foundation.
Smart.
Not to mention that. What's that?
Oh, yeah, actually, I would.
You ready?
Got better than I did.
I am.
Right. Good evening. We'd like to open up the regular meeting of the Point Pleasant Beach Board of Adjustment for August 20th, 2026.
Adequate notice of time this meeting was given under the provisions of the Open Public Meeting Act, which was posted and sent to the official designated newspapers in compliance with the law.
Hello.
Mr. Davis.
Here.
Mr. Bannon.
Here.
Mr. McGee.
Here.
Vice Chair Reynolds.
Here.
Mr. Neal.
Here.
Mr. Clayton.
Here.
And Mr. Loder.
Here.
So, let's see. Your initials are listed if you can vote. Could I have a motion to approve the June 4th minutes?
I'll make that motion. Second?
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Mr. McFadden?
Yes.
Mr. Clayton?
Yes.
And, no, she's not here. And, three resolutions. Be resolved by the Board of Adjustment that it hereby memorializes the action of vote approving application 2026-18 of Paul Bonsper at 306 Hawthorne Avenue with conditions. Motion?
Make a motion to approve 2026-18.
Second?
Vice Chair Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Clayton?
Yes.
Mr. Neal?
Yes.
Mr. Loder?
Yes.
Be resolved by the Board of Adjustment that it hereby memorializes the action of vote approving application 2024-05B. It was the extension resolution on Lakefront Holdings 200 Washington Avenue. Motion?
So moved.
Second?
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Mr. McFadden?
Yes.
Mr. McGee?
Yes.
Mr. Clayton?
Yes.
And Mr. Neal?
Yes.
Be it resolved by the Board of Adjustment that it hereby memorializes the action of vote approving application 2026-19 of 11060 Ocean Avenue, Inc., doing business as the Trade Winds at 1201-1205 Ocean Avenue with conditions.
Make a motion to approve 2026-19.
Second?
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Vice Chair Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Clayton?
Yes.
Mr. Loder?
Yes.
And Mr. Neal?
Yes.
And on the agenda tonight is 2026-16 of Rock LaManna at 70 Inlet Drive, represented by Mr. Jackson.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. For the record, John Jackson on behalf of Mr. Lamanna. Been here a bunch of times for various improvements that Mr. Lamanna has done. And now we're here to build a new house, which we hope the board will agree is consistent with the development pattern that has taken place in this part of town. There's been a fair amount of new houses that have come in that we think this fits within that pattern. So with the board's permission, if I can mark the PowerPoint that I've handed out, consisting of 5 pages as A5. A3, I'm sorry, I said 5 pages, I was looking at the 5th page, thank you. And, in addition to Mr. Lamanna, I have Joe Kashuba here. He is our engineer and planner. And in this case, the planning testimony is significant because it is a zone where homes are no longer permitted use, even though there's quite a few of them. Mr. Kashuba will address that, so it's a D variance. And then we have Ann Sears. She is the architect. I think I'm going to have the architect come up and be sworn first. This way, Mr. Kashuba will have the opportunity as the planner to have heard the architectural input. Is that okay? Thank you.
Good evening.
Hi. Okay, raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you'll give before this board will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. Did you want me to state my name? Ann Sears, architect, Sparta, New Jersey. Been in New Jersey, state licensed architect since 2000, and I've appeared before numerous boards across the state of New Jersey.
Everybody on the board good?
If you're comfortable, you
Thank
can have a
you.
seat, and if you need to get up by the TV as we go through this. So, one of the first things that that somebody made a comment to me about is the architectural plans that they have might show the house is 12 feet wide. And I have them up there. Can you just explain that discrepancy and what might have happened with reducing the renderings to 8.5 by 11?
The scale may have adjusted due to the scaling down for the sheet. It's originally sized for a 24 by 36 inch sheet. And I'll give you the exterior dimensions proposed so that there's no discrepancy. The exterior dimension width-wise is 25 feet, and front to back on the foundation level is 30 feet, and on the second floor is 32 feet.
So it's too long. Yeah,
Right,
So I don't know if I printed those.
Yeah, I don't know how, I didn't know the numbers changed when you print them, but
Yeah.
We figured it wasn't right.
Things happen.
it wasn't a 12.
Right, that would be a tiny house.
So
I might
either
fit.
way,
I've
so
seen
thank you for addressing that, and thank you for bringing that to my attention so we can address it right away. So let's start out with the floor plan. I have the floor plan up on the TV. I don't know if you want to go up there and just go through what we're
Sure.
doing in terms of layout.
Sure. Or is it easier if I just talk from here on the microphone?
Well, you can
Okay.
point to the TV
Yeah.
if you go up there.
Okay. So on the ground floor level, we're gonna create a large garage area, which gives us a parking space within the building plus additional storage. There's a little bit of an indent, so there's a front porch, area, covered area to get in and out of the house. Then we've stepped up a couple of stairs where we do have some equipment that is just at the flood level, just above the flood level, and actually the homeowner's probably gonna mount these even higher up, hang them from the ceiling, just so that they are out of the danger of ever getting flooded, and then we go upstairs. So this is all essentially kind of wash away area.
And then we have an area behind there that's boxed out with columns, it looks like. Can you explain that?
That's under the deck. That is just part of the yard, and then the deck would be above that.
And Mr. Kashuba will cover this, but there's more or less a deck there now,
More or less a deck in this exact location.
so.
And I do believe that is the variance that they had prior.
All right. So let's move on to
No,
the.
can I interrupt you for a second, John? So, Ms. Sears, you said that the utilities are just above the flood level. What exactly does that mean?
If you go to the elevation, can you drop that down to, is this an, hold on a second. Can you, there's somewhere where we have it outlined where the base flood elevation, I think, continue that way. Keep going.
The other way, let's find it this way. Is it on there?
Yeah, the first one maybe?
The front elevation actually had it on
Oh,
there.
Yeah.
yeah, it's not on that sheet.
No, yeah, it's on the one I have here.
Is it on the sheet that you have?
Yes.
Yeah, we have it.
Huh.
Want me to plug that in and we can put it up there? Just plug your computer right in? You have a HDMI?
I think so. Do
No,
that.
not that one,
No.
but the other side.
This is an iPad, so.
Okay, all right, so you could look at that for your numbers, but this will still illustrate what we have.
Right, so the base flood elevation is at 9 feet, and that hallway floor, you know, we step in and we go up a couple of steps, and this is at 9.03 feet, this section right here.
Okay.
And then we go upstairs.
But the design flood elevation,
The design
we have
flood
a
elevation
3-foot
is-
freeboard.
is at 12 feet, right? So
Right.
that's where we would lift those and hang those.
Okay, so all the utilities will be 12 or higher?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So pending an approval, the applicant has to get a flood hazard permit, because you get a flood hazard permit to enjoy the legacy provisions of the new flood hazard regulations. Okay.
Yes, we
Thank you.
understand that.
Okay. So the homeowner has decided that reverse living might be a better scenario for this house. There's beautiful views of the inlet and almost the ocean. So the second floor would be the bedroom floor with a main bedroom suite and 2 additional bedrooms and a bathroom. And then it would step out to a deck in the back. On the upper floor, there is an open floor plan, kitchen, dining, living area with a small balcony, and also stepping out to a deck where they could do some grilling and et cetera, associated with the reverse living.
So the total bedroom count is
3.
3, and it's right there on that floor. 2 baths, well, on the second floor and 1 down below, right?
2 baths below the second floor.
And then you just want to kind of just go over the exterior elevations. I could go to the rendering too, but.
Yeah, why don't we go to the rendering, because I think we put a little more thought into the materials. So The idea would be that the ground level will have some nice light, stone features. Then we go to some banding with some vertical, siding, and sort of a board and batten siding, with a nice sort of balcony. This is a Juliet balcony in the front with a little balcony detail, and we brought the stone up to the pier at the top so that it kind of creates a nice composition. It has a hip roof, so there would be an overhang, and we brought the banding in horizontally as well. Some nice significant window trim.
So why don't we just, I know the side elevations and the rear elevation are in black and white, but it'd be similar theme, similar colors?
Same colors, yes.
And just.
It's just kind of either like an off-white or a cream color, light color, and the stone would be sort of matching that or in harmony with that.
So John, because it doesn't show any foundation treatment there, so the foundation treatment will be in accordance with the ordinance.
Correct.
And how about with the rendering? How would the rendering relate to the foundation treatment? Is that what you see, what the, is that what the
Yes.
foundation will look like? So.
Yes,
I think he was talking about the side.
yes.
The
Oh,
side.
on the sides as well,
Yeah.
yes. So, that's basically the questions I would have for the architect. We think the renderings and everything are self-explanatory, so unless the board has any additional questions for the architect.
Yes, since we had an issue with rescaling from the
Right.
drawing, can you give us the dimensions of both decks and also the protrusion by the front door?
Okay. By the front, the protrusion, meaning the Juliet balcony upstairs?
That,
There's a recess at the front door, so that's.
that,
4
and
foot-
also there's a little roof over the
Oh, right.
front entry.
Yeah, that little roof is applied, so that would just be about 13 inches forward.
So let's show what
Yeah.
elements
So
we're
we're
talking about, and then we'll jump over.
This piece right here is just applied to the siding, so we're gonna project further, probably about 13 inches from the face of the facade. This door steps back 4'6" from the face of the garage.
So let's switch
So it
over
is-
to the plans, and you can
Yeah.
show how that works.
Yep, so this door steps in 4'6", and it's 8'2" wide. And that, second floor does cantilever 2 feet beyond the face of this foundation.
Is that shown on the?
Yes,
So right here, this little element, let's look at the rendering and show how that kind of correlates with that.
yep. So there's a protrusion here, and this pops further, a little bit more of a cantilever as a Juliet balcony.
All right, so let's talk about the, I think Mr. Davis also
The
asked about
decks.
the decks.
The decks, the size of the decks, we used in reference the size of the deck that they had prior, at 12 feet in dimension towards the rear, 21 feet wide, centered on the back of the house.
And those dimensions are shown right here and here, right? We have
Yes.
21 and 12 over here.
Yes.
And that's proposed on both the first living floor and the second living floor, is that correct?
Correct.
Let's,
What's the rear
I
setback?
think you answered the questions. I don't know if there was another question for Mr. Davis?
What's the rear setback from the deck to the property?
That is, we will cover that with our planner, but I could put that, and our engineer.
Oh, it's part of the design, so.
Yes.
I don't have the survey.
I just put it
Yeah,
up there.
okay, so it says 2.8 feet on the survey.
Any other questions? Looks like we're good. Is there anybody in the audience that has questions of this witness? You'll have time to speak your piece later. This is just questions regarding her testimony. Please come forward.
Good evening.
curious as to know, there is currently a deck there. Is that deck going to remain, so then they will have, yes?
No.
It won't be there. Will the house be farther back than where the deck is?
No,
So the setback will be pretty much the same?
the same,
Okay, and then there's 2 decks above that, right?
right,
That are the same size?
same size, but no deck on the ground level.
So there'll be a deck on the first floor, the bedroom level,
Yes,
and then there's a deck on the second?
yes,
Okay, just curious about that. And they will be the same size as the prior?
that's what we had proposed, correct.
Okay, that was my question about that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so piggybacking off of that, so what is on the ground level under the 2 decks?
What is proposed to
What is
be?
proposed there?
I believe it's just gravel.
You know, I just thought of something else. There is a shed back there, is that going to remain? Currently, there is a shed back
Unfortunately, the
there
shed
and a
is
shower.
out. I think the shed is gonna go, but because they have a large garage now that can store it, yeah.
And the shower also.
That is, we didn't discuss the shower.
Well, it doesn't impact us, but,
I would imagine I'd like to have a shower there.
it's still there.
John, are you gonna call Mr. Lamont?
We'll have Mr. Lamont or Mr. Kashuba address that, so I'll address that with Mr. Lamont. I don't see it on the plan, but we can address it. We didn't discuss that. Any further questions?
Anybody else in the audience have any questions of this witness? Looks like we're good. Thank you.
So thank you very much. That is it. So, Joe, can you address that, or should we bring Ralph up?
Address what?
The shower?
The applicant can certainly provide some testimony as well.
Right.
I was just asking him questions regarding that. I should be sworn before I.
So we'll have Mr. Lamont come up, so you hear what he has to say about that. Ralph, come on up. Have to raise your hand.
Do you swear affirm the testimony you'll give before this board will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes, we do.
Thank you, have a seat. Just, you know, I brought you up to answer the specific question about the shower, but can you just give the board, you know, since we have it here now, a little bit of your history with this house, what happened to it, what you've done to it, the different approvals that you've gotten, where we're at right now and how we got there?
Well, back in 2022, just after COVID, we had come for an application for the deck, shower, a shed, and the only thing, well, and a fence, but the fence I didn't need a variance for. I needed a variance for the other 3 items. We came and, you know, got an approval, and we installed everything as was designed and approved at that point.
Okay, just, thank you, and I'm just looking on the survey, I don't see the shower located on the survey, can you tell us where it is?
It's at the rear of the house on the, well, if you're standing in the street on the right side, right back corner of the house.
Right back, so it faces the rear yard, can you just trace it out here where it is, just so the board knows where it is? You might be able to pick it up on a picture. Approximately in this area,
Yeah, it's 4x4.
so it would've got like a little fence around. I remember the
Yeah.
shower from our last application, there was a lot of discussion about it, but it's just like a fence around it or enclosed?
Yeah, it's a pre-built almost, you just assemble it on site. It's already, you know, the dimensions and everything, it has 4 walls.
So the
And
question was,
so-
with the new proposal, would you keep that shower in the same location, or would you
I would think
not
we
want
would
it?
still need it, coming back from the beach to rinse off and everything, we use it for that just about every time, so.
Very good. Now, and I just wanna go over, so just some of the features about this property, so, you know, looking at that image right there on page 3 of the PowerPoint, that's your existing house?
Yes, it is.
And you know, based on the last approval, you were able to put concrete in the front to have basically a parking area there?
Yes, we changed it to show more impervious coverage in the front. We gave another 3 feet for the gravel in the front at that point.
And the gravel,
Because we had the shed going on up in the back, so we, you know, it was a give and take.
right, and then the gravel on the back, that goes to a parking area in the driveway for the house behind you, right?
right, for the two houses in the rear.
All right, thanks. That's just all I want to cover with Mr. Lamona, and I'll address the rest with the civil engineer. So if the
I
board
do
has
have
any
a
questions-
follow-up question for Mr. Lamona, please. Our review letter indicates that this is going to be elevating, lifting the existing structure and adding a second floor to it. Is that correct, or is this all new construction?
No, it's gonna be all new, the foundation and the amount of demolition to raise the existing. There wasn't gonna be much savings of anything to raise it, because there is no floor, it's on a slab.
Right.
So I'd have to tear apart the whole interior of the house, wipe out the kitchen and everything, to put beams in and everything so they can lift it. So I'm lifting a bunch of toothpicks up in the air at that point. It's really not worth saving.
I just wanted to clarify that, because I think that changes a couple.
Yeah, so the
thoughts.
engineering plan indicates to be modified, and then I didn't pick up on that because I actually thought that the house was gonna be demolished, requiring then a D1 use variance. So, but the engineering plot plan does indicate to be modified.
Thank you.
You're staying, your plan is to stay in the exact same footprint as the old house?
Yes. The new foundation will be exactly where the old one is, but better.
All right, unless the chairman or the board has any further questions?
Any questions? Anybody, audience, have any questions of Mr. Lamont? Come on up. And again, just to let you know, you will be able to speak at the end. This is just questions of the witness.
What I was curious about, if.
You gotta ask him the question.
Are they gonna, when they do the foundation, are they gonna do pilings, or are they just gonna do foundation and the house on the street? Because,
It's just gonna be a foundation,
so they're not gonna be driving?
no, I'm not gonna be driving pilings.
Okay, because it said driving pilings affects us all. And also the driveway, can I ask about that or not?
He didn't really speak about it.
After the engineer testifies, ma'am, perhaps.
Yeah,
that
the
would
driveway
provide
is
some-
an easement, it's gotta remain.
Right, no,
Right, that's the driveway, you're not
Yeah.
touching the driveway.
No.
How do you demolish a house without touching the driveway?
Probably an engineering question.
That's.
he's gonna.
He's up next.
For the next
All
witness.
four of us, all four properties went in on the driveway last year, and we replaced it and did a really nice job. Just
All right.
stays that way.
That's, you'll be able to have that complete discussion at the end. Thank you.
Joe Kashuba?
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Jackson, before you start with Mr. Kashuba, you should clarify, because Mr. Kashuba's plan indicates that the existing permeable deck, that would be the ground level deck, is to be replaced, so you can clarify that. And then I think with regard to the residents, the neighbors' question with regard to foundation or pilings, that would probably be better answered by the architect as to whether the soils can support a standard foundation or whether piles are necessary.
Yeah, and Mr. Kashuba, being a structural engineer, do you think this would probably be piles or foundation or the build code?
So I can,
Okay.
yeah, do swear affirm and testimony and give before this board over the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth.
I do. Joseph Kashuba, KBA Engineering Services, Manasquan, New Jersey.
And you're a planner, civil engineer, and structural engineer?
That is correct.
All right, so why don't we talk about the pilings first?
Certainly.
Probably
So
the best one to address that.
we have not done a geotechnical boring on this particular site, but we were involved in the application immediately to the south. That particular design did wind up with piles. So I would say it's likely we wind up with piles here, but we haven't done any testing on this particular site.
So why would you go with piles or not piles? Is that really a construction issue and a structural issue once you get into building the house?
It is. It's part of the building code. The concern we had at that site was not necessarily organic material. It was more unconsolidated sands, as you would expect in this area. So the depth of footing necessary to support the load was difficult on that particular property. I don't imagine the soil conditions on this property are drastically different.
So you anticipate the more significant odds are that this will require pilots?
I believe so. Now, pile installations, obviously the concern being impacts to neighbors. The pile design would indicate that vibration monitoring would be necessary. Pre-augering piles can also be done to eliminate some of the vibration as well. So there are techniques that can be utilized to reduce that impact. Or if it's a substantial concern, depending upon the design, sometimes helical piles can be utilized rather than timber, which do not create any vibration. But the means and methods of installation can certainly ensure that there's no impact to any of the neighboring properties.
So going, and please forgive us, I mean, we're a little out of sequence. I put the architect and my client on first. Usually we go through all this with the civil engineer who knows the answers to all these questions. That's why we appear a little out of sync, so please forgive the little awkwardness with the, on that.
We're used to that, John, with you.
Pardon me?
We're used to that with you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Only two.
This is nothing. So, Mr. Kashuba, one of the other questions that came up from the neighbor, and I put the Google Earth aerial shot up there, and I know you're familiar with the site. You can see that there is an easement or driveway right along, I guess that's the north side of the property?
Correct.
and-
Bottom of page there is the north side.
So that would, and then that leads to the driveway on both sides in the back, that's how they get to their property. So how would this be constructed without disturbing that driveway and still providing access and ingress and egress for the other houses?
Certainly. So the front concrete, I believe, is sufficient to be maintained. I don't believe that, I believe they could construct this without any substantial damage to that. Obviously, anything that would be damaged would have to be replaced. The sides of the home, the part of the driveway there is gravel, so certainly any disturbance can be maintained throughout construction. It will be a tight site to develop on, but they can utilize the front of the home, the driveway there for their staging, and a home of this type, similar to what was built immediately next door. The materials are brought in essentially the day you're gonna use them is the day the materials show up. You don't have a whole lot of room to go store any trusses or lumber or things like that, so the contractor will be cognizant of that and, order their materials accordingly.
All right, so now let's go, what we would do normally if I would have called you first, like I should have. So, Mr. Kashuba, can you please give the board an overview of this application, the zone, the location, what's there now, overview of what we intend to do, then we'll get into the specifics of the application.
Absolutely. So this is a property in the marine commercial zone. It's severely undersized at 2,052 square feet. It's 31.21 feet of frontage and 60 feet of depth. The MC zone would call for 10,000 square feet here. A typical residential lot would call for 5,000 square feet. The existing structure is a single-story residential dwelling that will be removed. I do apologize, my plan notes on the top right do indicate this as an addition. That is incorrect. We did identify proposed two-story dwelling on the actual house, but our plan is incorrect. It is absolutely a brand-new home. We are not proposing this as an addition or a lift. The existing dwelling would be demolished, the new home would be developed with a 25-foot by 30-foot ground floor footprint and a 2-foot cantilever at the front, with the proposed two-story deck on the rear of the property and that small Juliet balcony at the front. The increase in footprint from the existing home to the proposed is rather small. 775 square feet is the existing footprint today, 800 square feet is the proposed, and the house is slightly narrower than what previously existed. The existing house is about 25.4 feet wide, this is 25, giving just a little bit more room to the two accesses to the rear of the property. It is located in a flood zone. The design flood here is 12. The bottom of joist will be at about elevation 16, so there is 4 feet of usable space for the mechanicals on the ground floor, and the home would be built in full compliance with the flood zone. We are removing and eliminating the shed in the rear. This does have the benefit now of a one-car garage, so There is ample storage now, eliminating the need for the shed and reducing the clutter in the backyard. The application does require D variances as a result of the application, because the marine commercial does not allow for single-family, even though the existing use is a single-family home. It's in non-conforming with a number of the setbacks for the MC zone. The 25-foot front setback, 15.2 exists. We're proposing 15.2 to the front of the garage floor, the ground floor, and then that 2-foot cantilever brings it out to 13.2 on the first and second floor. And that small Juliet balcony comes forward another about 2 feet. On the side yards proposed are 3.5 and 5.71 feet, matching what previously existed, and actually slightly larger than what previously existed. And the rear yard setback is equivalent, 14.3 feet previously existed, 14.8 is proposed now.
Can I stop you on that one?
Certainly.
The deck, it testified that the deck is 2 foot.
I was getting to the rear yard setback of the deck next. So yes, the home is at 14 point, I'm comparing the dwelling, interior dwelling, and now the deck is at a rear setback of 2.8 feet. The previous deck was in a similar location. That deck was at grade. Obviously, these proposed decks are elevated. The impervious coverage remains similar, given the coverages aren't really changing. The home footprint's about the same, the deck footprint's about the same, as well as the parking in the front. The building height is in compliance with the ordinance. There is relief required for the upper story deck. Total square footage of upper story deck at 300 square feet, where 200 square feet is the maximum permitted, and that's a sum of both the rear deck as well as the front. If you bring up the rendering, there is a upper deck there that extends into the home that also counts towards that limitation for this upper story deck.
So can I, since you paused, so as I recall from reading the prior resolution, when the applicant was approved, it was because there was a concrete patio in the back that then had to be removed and a permeable deck was being installed. So when you say that the coverage remains the same, well, so now we have a deck, and then we have a first living story deck, and then we have a second living story deck. So I'm not sure, I don't really necessarily agree with that statement as to it's all pretty much the same, because the tenor of the board in approving the prior application was for a permeable deck on the ground level. So certainly I think placing 2 decks now above that is not the same situation.
I mean, vertically, obviously it's not, but from permeability standpoint, they're both slatted decks that allow the water to run through. So gravel on the ground now will match the gravel that's under the at-grade deck that's there. They are elevated, but the runoff can flow through them the same way. So I would say from a permeability and runoff standpoint, it hasn't changed, but obviously the decks are elevated vertically.
Until the time you're tired of getting dripped on, and
I'll
then.
just say second.
We are stipulating here that they are, standard plank decks, not impervious decks.
Sorry, I
proceed.
didn't mean to interrupt the cadence there.
No problem. So we do have a new D1 use variance for a single-family residential use on the property. It's not an expansion of a non-conforming use because we are demolishing the home, so it is a D1 use variance. In order to justify a D1 use variance, we need to demonstrate that the purposes of zoning are advanced, specifically Purpose A, the general welfare, and we do so by identifying that the site is particularly suitable for the proposed use. In my opinion, this site is uniquely situated as an established residential pocket in this marine commercial zone, surrounded by other single-family dwellings. Introducing a commercial use on this undersized lot with zero commercial buffer would create severe land use conflicts and nuisance impacts on the neighbors, and in reality, would be very difficult to develop with necessary parking, handicap parking, access, and such. So in my opinion, for that reason, the site is certainly particularly suitable. In addition, your master plan, both the 2015 master plan reexamination as well as the 2021 master plan, both discuss this area. 2015 master plan reexamination identifies and directly recommends amending the regulations to recognize pre-existing single-family dwellings in the MC zone. And then the 2021 master plan recommends specific protections or specific review of the Laughlin Point area for proper zoning, indicating that marine commercial development has not been proceeding there. The permitted uses in the zone are many different marine uses, marine service, boat buildings, storage of boats, etc., parking lots, none of which I believe would be appropriate, nestled in between all of these existing single-family homes. I believe the assumed intention of changing this to the MC zone in 2006 was to try to turn over the area and have lots combine and create a commercial area. That development pattern just didn't continue in that fashion. Many of the homes rebuilt after Sandy and have been raised and or renovated. So adding new residential uses in this commercial use zone, I believe is certainly appropriate. Adding those in, say, another commercial zone may not be as appropriate, but that's not the case here. The area is predominantly residential on the interior of Inlet Drive. A dwelling already exists there. It's being replaced with a contemporary dwelling that's now flood compliant. The house coverage is almost the same as the neighboring dwelling, as well as the dwelling that exists there today. The primary change here is increase in height and stories. The ground level is now not habitable, where in the existing condition, the home is completely within the flood zone. Two-story dwellings have become standard throughout this area. 72, 74, 76, 78, and 84 Inlet Drive are all two-story structures. The 2021 master plan specifically says considering bulk and design standards for the residential bungalow area on Laughlin Point through a separate zone overlay or conditional use requirement in the MC zone. That has not proceeded, but development has. And the development that we're proposing is commensurate with and generally matching the development that's happened on the other properties. It improves flood compliance, therefore promoting safety and the purposes of zoning. So for all those reasons, I think the site is particularly suitable and promotes the purposes of planning found in Section 2 of the Municipal Land Use Law. I also believe that the site, that the development does not have a substantial detriment to the public good. The proposed structure complies with the overall height limitations, matches the other homes in the area, maintains surrounding air, light, and open space, and now provides for an off-street parking stall where one does not exist today. Currently, all of the parking extends into the right-of-way, kind of typical through the interior side of Inlet Drive. This now has one fully compliant parking space as well as parking in front of the garage and the home. So improving the parking condition by one. In addition, I don't believe there's an impairment to the intent and purpose of the zone plan, which is a paramount concern when looking at a use variance. This dwelling, this is a residential neighborhood, and this dwelling is modernizing the existing condition. Your zone plan specifically speaks to looking at this area to adjust it because of the residential development that has occurred there. So for all those reasons, I think the variances can be granted as requested. The benefits outweigh the detriments, and there's no substantial impact to the zone plan or zoning ordinance.
So, Mr. Kashuba, I want to go over a couple things. I know, we're taking down the old house and staying in the footprint of the old. So just, I put the Google Earth image up. On the right side, there's a driveway and an easement there, right? The partial easement on our side, partial
Correct.
easement on the other side.
Generally speaking, half the easements on this lot, half the easements on 72 Inlet.
So while we have 3.5 foot of space here, there's actually like 10 I don't know what the actual dimension is. but
It's
there's
between 9 and 10 feet between the
9 to 10
structures.
feet. So it's not like we're right on top of the other house. Because of the easement with the driveway that gives access to the back, that kind of gives us some breathing room for fire access and all that.
Correct, and as indicated, that the proposed house is about 4/10 of a foot, which is about 4.5 inches narrower than that home that's there today.
So now I'll go over to the other side. Likewise, on this side, there's an easement where we have, I think, 5 feet on our side, 5 feet on the other side. Combined, it gives access to the houses behind us.
Correct.
So our property is unique, unlike, say, a typical bungalow house. And let's face it, these are a lot like the bungalow district, where if you have a 3.5 foot setback, you only would have 6 feet or 5 feet between the house next door. Here we actually have, because of the unique location here, we got some room.
I would agree with that, yeah.
And I'll just go to the overhead on Google Earth. Whoop, that's not the overhead on Google Earth. So you can see, I mean, that driveway's not going anywhere because the house is behind. We go through here, they're otherwise landlocked. They need this driveway to get in.
Correct, and they're legally protected by easement.
By easements, same here, so.
Yes.
All right, now, in terms of the size of this house, it's a 25 foot wide house. In your view as a planner, is that what is sufficient for a house? I mean, is that too big, too small for this lot?
I think it's appropriate for the lot. It's very similar, as you can see, the homes to the rear, as well as the home to the north, which is left on your screen there, are all very similar in size. The Disculio house to the south, one that the board approved, is actually a little bit larger, because that lot was a little bit larger.
So if we pan around, you can see a lot, and this board obviously has approved them and is very familiar with this, but would you say that what we're doing is consistent with the development pattern in the area and kind of is the direction this is going in?
Absolutely.
And the statement in the master plan, I'll paraphrase it, that says, we gotta figure out what to do with this marine commercial zone. That's,
Paraphrasing, yes, it says that it needs to be looked at by the planning board and the committee.
and just in terms of what the zoning's for, you don't see this as a restaurant or a little clam hut or anything like that. That's just,
No, it wouldn't be appropriate for anything except for perhaps parking, and parking would be certainly detrimental to the surrounding residential
you know,
homes.
certainly we have commercial right across from us, and restaurants and party boats and everything else. But this side of the street is pretty much residential except for a couple parking lots.
Correct, the interior has been developed generally as residential.
And, you know, from a planning standpoint, let's say, well, we'll stick a parking lot in there. That's allowed in the marine commercial, and that would work there. Would that be the greatest thing for the neighbors on either side?
I think it would have a detrimental impact to the neighbors having a parking lot, immediately nestled between 5 homes.
Are you kidding? They think it would be great to have company.
It's not so great. I've lived there on Foreman. Now, one thing we didn't really talk about, if the board approves this application, are we eliminating a non-FEMA compliant condition and replacing it with a house that's safe and meets all the flood regulations?
Yes, absolutely.
And does that have a benefit to the community at large?
It does.
That promotes
I do believe I said it, but yes.
Oh, you did? Maybe thank you.
No problem.
So, all right. Thank you. I have no further questions for Mr. Kishuba.
And I'll start off. You had mentioned light and air.
Yes.
You don't believe that the 2 decks being 2'8" off of the property line, the house being raised 35 feet, not raised, two 35 feet, is not gonna be detrimental to light and air to the people that live behind there?
So the decks, again, the intent of the design as identified by the architect is to try and provide a deck that's commensurate to what's there today.
What's there today is on the ground. It's not
Correct.
20 feet in
And
the
most of the
air.
houses, the decks
And
are
to
in
be
the
clear,
front.
what's that?
Most of the decks are in the front on the other houses.
Correct. The house immediately to the south has a deck essentially out over the driveway. So it will have some impact to air, light, and open space, certainly. But the home itself, I think, is properly sized. The decks are open air. There's no roof over top of them, so they certainly have less impact to air, light, and open space compared to interior space, roofed, habitable space. So I can't say they will have no impact to air, light, and open space, but there will be some impact, yes.
Can I have 5 minutes to confer with my client, Mr. Kashuba, in the hall? I know it's unusual to take a break right now, but I wanna talk about the decks with him, cause I can see the folded arms and the stern faces.
Ben
It's
gave
the
me.
first thing Mr. Savakul said to me when I walked in, and, I'd just like to have a discussion with my client about it, if that's okay with you.
It's okay with you, but I wouldn't judge anything by our folded arms and faces. We're gonna take a 5-minute break.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's the other question.
And it's like, hey, if you put this with us at 5, they make it. Scale it in, quick turn, it's like the closest New York City. Yeah, it's gonna be a smaller house. What?
You got the pipes.
And then scale the house, scale 85%. You want to open up with us at 5. I'm not here to design it for you.
Thank you. That's been my pet peeve for 20 years. My house over there was 20 years old.
And I club in his area, his kids, they all had yellow shirts, and that's why they're building that area.
It's raining now.
So how was your balance? Feeling better?
It's, no, it's not better. It's not, it's gonna get better, it's growing better. And it's different on both sides, I got a foot drop on this side. Everybody's like, like Karen Mills, she's like, I was talking to her recently. She's like, something like, I'm like, no, something like that. But I think, when I was ever like to PT in the fall, because I go clinical and I told her your college and I was sure that hurts. Somebody's in the fall, she's like, basically, Terry.
My wife has some degenerated disc in her back. And she's been going to a physical therapist. He's actually county man. It's a drive. But he was former trainer for Tom Brady, for the New York Islanders, and another professional team. He has been running her through a series of core strength. He says, we can't fix. He said, we can't fix the damage, but what we can do is alleviate the stress on it.
That's the thing, you know, it's all about the core, and I've been walking with that, because I like your core, and I've got my exercise, they came and had me down.
It's just so true of so many people.
I mean, I was thinking of maybe sort of like that gym, and I was just, sure, it's like, not me, you know, older.
They started over in the garage.
I'm leaving to California for a week, then I'll be home for 3 months before we go to California.
Where do you go, John? Where do you go?
Central Coast. Yeah, a little town. Nobody ever has this sort of.
They have a way of making you feel
I
like
thought it was
that.
an Encinitas, but probably ever.
They have a way of making you feel like that.
So, but I was thinking
When
about
you
joining
you
for that 3
finally
months
come
just
out,
to.
you're like, yeah, well,
Yeah.
maybe
I know this is why I had probably like such bad back and hip pain. I had Terry Gaines on hips. I hadn't seen him, but Jeff was looking out the window. Every car that was in my corner. I think that's a good point, but sorry, waking up at 7 and I never take a sip of pain. I pop 3 Motrin.
Jody.
You know, and so then it's like the reflex. Is it Motrin? It was Advil, actually, that's the same thing. It's all.
When are you gonna bust it down?
It's like physician, heal thyself.
When your boy
It's one of
busted
those
that
funny things
concrete,
that every now and then. Good question. Pick up Motrin, because I do occasionally get lower rates.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I forgot.
Right.
Okay, and,
Just let me know, you forget about that.
Yeah.
Don't keep.
Pretty good.
Yeah, and if
I didn't know I had so many eggs.
Right. I mean, I might actually, it's acting up again. It was pretty good earlier today, but now it's acting up again. I was gonna start walking again too. Cause I was walking, it was there. I started to. Great, last 3 points. Not jazzed all the way.
Karen, we ready?
Yeah.
All right. Reopen the meeting?
Secretary Davis?
Still here.
Mr. Fowler?
Here.
Mr. McGee?
Here.
Vice Chair Reynolds?
Here.
Mr. Neal?
Here.
Mr. Clayton?
Yes.
Mr. Loder?
Here.
All accounted for.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I mean, just to, kind of let you know where we're at and how we got here. I mean, in the design phase, we have like a driveway and a parking lot behind us. That's why we thought there was reasonable to ask for the 2 decks in the back of the house. A lot of the other houses in this area don't have backyards. That's why they have their decks in the front. My client has a backyard. It makes sense. We're keeping in the house footprint. That said, shame on me. Should have had a conversation with Mr. Sabato earlier, and he said to me, no, you're awfully close to the back fence. I could see the reaction on the board. I spoke to my clients. I've been to this board a time or two. So the architect, my client would agree to reduce the size of the deck to 10 by 14, which Mr. Kashuba will go over. 10 by 15? What did we say, 10?
10 by 14.
10 by 14. That was the architect's number. And Mr. Kashuba will go over what that does in terms of setbacks, coverages, or ratios being over on what's allowed on the deck, et cetera, so.
So yeah, at 10 by 21 or 12 by 21 originally proposed, that's a 250 square foot deck. 10 by 14 is 140. So we've cut it by 110 square feet, or over 40% reduction.
Can you
Is that
draw?
10 is that 10 in depth?
10 in
or-
depth, 14 in width.
10
So
in-
it would also increase the rear yard setback from 2.8 feet to 4.8 feet
Maybe
to the
draw in
deck.
there a little bit? And,
Is it, can I draw?
you can with one finger. Okay, that'll work. It's not, it doesn't want to slide over, but
Yeah.
I could do it.
I don't like that.
It's not working. The computer's a little slow. I hate this when it happens. All right, just bear with me. Okay. We'll erase. It might lag a little behind you, but you should be able to draw.
All right.
Okay, let's try it. Thank you.
So the doors in the rear are shaded towards the south side or right on page, so we would have a 10-foot deck by 14 in this general area.
And that's where it would be? It would be more.
It would be on the
so
right, that's where the
Yeah.
doors are, so yeah,
Okay.
it would be on the southerly side of
Got
it.
it.
And because we have the reverse living, we would propose 2 levels.
Correct, so the second floor deck is really the primary deck because it is reverse living. So the living space, living room, kitchen is all up on the second floor. The first floor deck provides the benefit of some usable space, but more importantly, it's the structure to allow for the second story.
What does that do to the setbacks in the rear? So we were,
2.8 feet to the rear of the deck. Previously, we would be at 4.8 feet. So the depth of the deck reduces from 12 feet to 10 feet.
and that's not across the entirety of the backyard.
Correct. The deck reduces by a third. At 14 foot wide, it's less than half the width of the lot, actually substantially less.
Is it a mitigating circumstance that what we have behind us is parking?
Absolutely. And you can also notice on the variance plan, the property to our south does not have the rear deck, but their property is also 4 or 5 feet shallower in depth. And the property line actually is on an angle coming closer as you move south. So that particular property, the geometric challenges didn't allow for a rear deck. This one, being a square lot, having a larger rear yard, the deck, I think, here is more appropriate.
Now, the properties behind, about how large, as estimated, is that parking area in the front of the house from
the property line of 70 Inlet to the
Certainly, so from the back of the property to the home,
Yeah,
no, it's in meters.
We'll fix that.
divide that, just multiply by 3 is close enough.
Closer to 4.
Closer to 4.
Yeah. I mean, judging by the site plan and the cars that are there, I would estimate 20 to 24 feet.
And if those neighbors behind you decided to do something similar to what's happening with this property, would they be able to come forward?
If they came forward 10 feet, there would still be substantial room between the two.
And they need their parking, right? I mean, that's,
I'm saying if they put in an elevated FEMA compliant property, they'd be able to park underneath.
They would park under, they would likely develop it, have a single car underneath, and they could have a deck that you could park under.
Okay.
Any further questions?
I just wanted to go back to the parking issue. The house that's being replaced is a 2-bedroom?
I believe so.
It's
Existing
3
house?
bedrooms.
Oh, the existing house?
Existing house,
2 bedrooms.
2 bedrooms, and now.
2-bedroom, 3-bedroom proposed.
Okay, so you have 1 parking space for a 3-bedroom house.
Correct, but the parking demand doesn't change. Under the RSIS standards, parking requirement is 1.8 for a 2-bedroom and 2.5 for a 3, and you round down. So in essence, the demand doesn't change, but we're adding 1 extra space.
Right, I mean, yeah, I understand that technically it won't change, but I think it'll be a busier house with people loading and unloading on busy Inlet Drive, you know.
Yep, we do have the ability, vehicles park in front of where the garage is, and the garage depth is staying exactly the same from the property line. So there's still the ability to park in front of the garage as well as in front of the house on the right-hand side too. So there can be parking for 3 vehicles. 1 legal parking spot, the other 2 have been utilized forever and were utilized under the previous approval too.
so I put up on Google Earth again, are we, we're 70?
70, yeah.
Yeah, so this happens to capture, and this is, I just went back to 2018. See, there's 3 cars in the street there. Now, the thing is, the property line's up here, just like everybody's driveway is. Usually the sidewalk and that much of your driveway is in the public right of way. So, I mean, we would still, as a practical matter, have,
Yeah, so we're increasing the legal parking spaces from 0 to 1, and we're improving the parking condition as well.
so when I look at a Google Earth from 2024, which I think, that doesn't have the improvements, this does now, 25, so. You can see, there's a car in the house right next door to us, and that is where everybody parks. What, do you fit 2 cars out there? 3? And now we'll actually have 1 in the garage, which will be fully legal, and as a practical matter, there's space for 4.
No.
I just wanted to confirm, so you're of the notion that as far as the master plan, if this house is, standard, going forward, and it doesn't, intensify, the area, by expanding and putting up this brand new house?
So obviously there's the vertical impact. I'm not gonna say there's 0 impact. The master plan speaks to the use specifically, and whether the marine commercial use is appropriate rather than residential. So in my opinion, I think the site is particularly suitable for residential, and I think what's proposed is commensurate with what has been developed through the corridor. There have been, many of these homes now developed and built in the last 10 years or so in that Law Firm Point area. So is it a little more, volume and height? Absolutely. We've seen that throughout the entire town after Sandy and the change to the flood maps and as things are getting redeveloped. But I think it is appropriate in size and scale, commensurate with the neighborhood. So I do think it is, the proper sized home for this lot.
And Mr. Clayton, I just, put up again, I think Google Earth tells a lot of story. These cases have all been before the court in recent times. I mean, look at the entire block, tall house, tall house, tall house, there's ours. And then down here, right here, that's what this development pattern is. And, we have the benefit, there's not residential right across the street. It's busy, it's, what is that, the shrimp box? And the Coast Guard station and parking for the party boats, but it's not like the neighborhood's becoming too crowded. We would submit, obviously, that's the board's judgment.
So I have a question for Mr. Savkol. Since tearing the old house down and building a new house, do the bedrooms of the new house meet the ordinance for the square footage of each bedroom? You got 4 by 9 1/4 and 5 by 5 1/4.
I can't really speak to that. I'm not a construction official, so I
That's
don't
an
know
Arab
what.
scale.
That's an Arab
Yeah,
scale.
that's-
It's double.
The bedrooms are,
Those are small bedrooms.
the one bedroom is 8'7" by 10'10", the other bedroom is 8'7" by 9'6".
And Mr. Loder, yeah, at the beginning, remember, we said, I don't know how that happens with the scale.
I think it was a half-size page was scanned and is now being scaled.
So bedroom, the 4 by 9 1/2 is what?
It's up there on the screen, Mr. Loder.
Oh, it says- Okay.
Yeah.
My mistake, thank you.
My mistake. And then the master bedroom, 14 by, 14.5 by 14.5.
It's one of those tiny houses they're building up in New York City. Right?
I think they're coming to a town near you. The, what do they call it? The,
ADUs?
ADU, accessory dwelling unit.
I get calls from clients regularly that New Jersey passed ADUs. When can I? Like, nah, that's not what it says.
I'll ask you later because it has nothing to do with this. Any other further questions? Anybody in the audience have questions of this witness? And again, it's questions, you can speak your mind later.
Those are all the questions I have for Mr. Kashuba, and that's our case, Mr. Chairman.
All right, in that case, you can come up and make your comments.
Well, hold on, this time you have to be sworn in before you give your testimony.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you'll give before this board will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth? Nina.
Nina Halter, Halter, 68A Inlet Drive. I was a bit shocked to find out that we're having 2 balconies. Our outdoor space at number 68 is in the front of our property. We have parking for a couple cars and then our outdoor space, which you can probably see there. And my neighbor doesn't, that's our outdoor space. Our house, our cottage is pushed back farther than everyone else, so that's our outdoor space. The neighbor next to us doesn't really use the outdoor space, but the ones next to it, and my neighbor in front of us also uses her outdoor space. 2 balconies was surprising to me, and my other neighbors aren't here. But you have balconies, the smaller balcony is on the 2nd floor, correct? And then the larger balcony is on the 3rd floor?
They're both
They're the same size.
So they're both the same size?
Correct, yeah, they're 10, we've stipulated tonight they would be 10 by 14, equal size, stacked on the further side from you, so on the southerly side of the house.
On the southerly side, okay,
Right.
so you're
So
diminishing.
shifted towards the south away from you.
Okay, and when we get torrential rains like this, all this extra water, and I know rain is rain, but which way does it come? You know, all this extra water is gonna be impacting these decks, and is that going to be shedding towards us or the driveways, or how does that work from an engineering?
Yeah, so this property right now grades from the rear towards the front, down the sides, through the driveways. The coverage of the decks remains the same. So there's a deck on the ground now that has planks that, with gaps in between, allows the water to pass through. We're gonna have gravel on the ground, underneath the deck, and the decks that are elevated will now have, slats with the, gaps that allow the water to also
water
pass
will
through.
be able to pass
So the
through.
water will pass through and then shed down the driveways. There'll be no impact to the neighboring properties.
So proper drainage, or will they be using, downspouts?
Typically, in these cases, yes, we would capture the downspouts and direct them to the front to ensure that it gets to the
So
street
they
and
go
doesn't
down the
impact any.
driveway,
Correct.
not into the ground?
The
Just
water
curious.
table here is rather shallow, so trying to propose a drywall system here is rather difficult.
Okay. Is that, like you say, I don't need any more water than we have.
Yeah, no water would be directed towards the house.
Okay. And, that was my, and the two decks are definitely what's happening.
That's our proposal, yes.
So I have a question for you. So the decks, your issue with the decks is water runoff or privacy?
runoff
Or
and
privacy, privacy.
You know, like you say, we sit out there at night, and, it's pleasant, it's quite pleasant. And, you know, we've been enjoying it for over 20 years, it's nice. It's, was one of my concerns.
Ms. Halter, where do you park vehicles on your site?
We use the driveway, and we park in front of my house. We park usually two, sometimes if we have a street, and usually two cars. That's all I have to ask.
So you're behind the applicant and to the left?
Yes, to the north.
Right, to the north.
I'm behind 68.
Right.
Correct. So
Thank you.
for the board's information, the application's here, I believe this is your home.
That's correct, and you
Yeah.
can see our front little patio.
Yep.
Yeah. So these two decks are kind of looking down on us. But- And you can see where our neighbors are. This house is usually our front here, and these people also here use their frontage, so.
Thank you. Anybody else in the audience? Anybody?
Have anything else besides deliberation? I would just like to make sure that the utilities are at the 12 feet, because that was kind of not defined, in my opinion.
So yes, the
I want to make sure that's,
mechanicals and utilities will be all flood compliant at elevation 12. The bottom of joist is at 16. There's 4 feet of space, which is more than adequate for the utilities necessary.
okay. John, are you closed?
Can I just have one more?
One. You're ahead 5.
Two timeouts per game, right?
Depends on the umpire.
He's got to do this, he's got to challenge. the
Ah,
crowd.
yeah.
Welcome to rest for timeouts.
All right, get a motion to close for deliberations.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Davis.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. A lot of non-conformance here if we were to compare this with the FS zone, but that is true of every application that we see on this street, and we've now seen at least 3, possibly 4 that I can recall. In general, I find the height and the characteristic of this house, in general design, meets with the other new construction that we've seen. I think it's, per the testimony, it's consistent with the development pattern that we're beginning to see. But, and while I appreciate the effort, and the compromise on the decks, they're a no-go for me. I'm gonna be honest, I think that these decks being the first being 10 feet, the second being 18 feet in the air, less than 5 feet off the property line, is nothing short of an invasion of light, air, and most importantly, privacy. I think it's just not good zoning. And that's the hill I'm gonna die on this one. I don't know who, I don't even know if it's worth mentioning, but the scaling issue that happened with these plans, for whatever reason, it makes me wonder what else we might have missed. Because it makes it very hard to determine what exactly we're looking at proportionate wise. I've been reading maps and plans all my life, and I don't think I've seen that happen before. And last but not probably least, putting the utilities, the furnace, the water heater, and we have one called WD, which I assume is washer and dryer. I've never seen one hung from a ceiling before, so that's gonna be an interesting one. I think it's probably not well thought out. So for these reasons, I'm just not in favor of this application at this time.
Ms. McFadden?
Yeah, I have the exact same feelings that Mr. Davis has about the decks. And it's not just the light and air issue, but potential for noise and invasion of privacy for the neighbors. And I hadn't really thought of it, but he did make a good point regarding the scaling and the plans that were submitted, and I'm a little concerned about what we could be missing as well. So unless somebody convinces me otherwise, I think I'm leaning towards a no.
Mr. McGee?
Thank you. I think it's a beautiful design. I like the fact that a new FEMA compliant home is proposed. I think it's consistent with what's been happening in the neighborhood. I hear the concerns of my colleagues on the board about the balconies. It's less of a light and air thing for me as it is a privacy thing. I'm going to sit tight and listen to the rest of the deliberation.
Mr. Neal?
Aesthetically, I think it is on par with what is going on in the district down there. That being said, I just don't think that the size and the area of the lot are fitting for the reverse design. And having essentially a third-story deck 5 feet off property line is not sitting well with me. I think if it was designed more traditionally, and it was one deck, and it was, 5 feet off, that would be much more reasonable for that area. So, and again, I'm not the planner, designer, or any of that. I just think that it doesn't fit the mold right now. But I'm open to hearing the other deliberations.
Mr. Clayton?
So I'll echo most of the other comments. Obviously, I think it's a nice house. It's consistent, with, what the neighborhood has been doing the last, few houses. But I also don't necessarily agree, as far as that it's the standard, moving forward. Even though some of the other houses have been done like this, I don't necessarily agree. And I would be leaning towards voting no.
Mr. Lewis?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to thank Mr. Davis for getting now the scaling issue. This is a nice design. It's certainly FEMA compliant. Anytime we get a new, more stable property or a new, more modern property in a flood zone, that's a positive thing. In fact, this is an MC zone, but I'm kind of concurring with the other members of the board. For me, this is an issue of privacy. Since Sandy, we built a lot of homes, a lot of decks around town, and it seems to be some, issue with people out hanging out, partying and doing things like that. So, and then we had a resident come up speaking her mind about her situation and her neighbor's situation. So at this point, I'm looking not to approve this application.
All right, I guess I get to go last, huh? Again, like everybody said, it's a nice looking house. The rendering was definitely, looking for the right word to say deceitful, but the water behind it, the no driveway, that's kind of But I do appreciate them amending the size of the deck. And in regards to the houses around, yes, we've approved houses, but none of them with the double decks. None of them with, nothing we pointed out had decks on it. And I'd also like to point out, and this is to the board, 'cause this is our time to talk to each other. Some of us are new, some of us aren't. We don't worry about other applications, other properties. You're here now, it's your opinion, it's your vote, right? So, I get what you're saying, I appreciate it, but just so you know that there's no pressure to do what anybody else did before you. And all that being said, I'll let you know in a couple of minutes how I vote. Get a motion to close deliberation.
So make.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
What I would request prior to vote is have an opportunity to come back with a redesign. Because we've heard some comments, and I talked to my client about the deck, the reverse living, et cetera. We might be able to make some revisions. I know it's a little unconventional, but the.
I'm getting no from the board, and then I'm looking towards the attorney.
Well,
We
it's
can't
always the,
make a habit of that.
it's always the board's discretion. I mean, once the case is submitted and you close for deliberations, you're well within your rights to act upon it. From a practical matter, if you wanted to allow for a revision, effectively, it'll be a reopening of the hearing, to hear testimony about that and to hear from the public as well.
All right, should we do a poll? Right, get a motion to allow or disallow? I mean, I don't want the board to make a habit of doing this.
No, I understand, that's why I say it's the board's discretion, it's, you know, our typical practice is once you close.
I make a motion to disallow. We heard the case, they
agree.
presented their case, they had
Second.
a timeout.
All right, all in favor?
Two.
Well, you wanna do regular?
Do you want me to roll call on that?
No, you could straw poll it as
Roll
to.
call. Secretary Davis,
I concur.
Ms. McFadden,
I agree.
Mr. McGee,
I don't have a problem with allowing it.
Mr. Neal,
I would allow it.
Ms. Clayton, Mr. Loder.
No.
I gotta say,
Say
No.
Arnold.
No, sorry.
I would have allowed it, yeah, I'm happy that it's not though.
Majority was no. We're gonna have a motion to approve or deny.
Get a motion to either approve or deny application.
I make a motion to deny the application.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Loder, second by Secretary Davis to deny application 2026-16 of Ralph Lamont at 70 Inlet Drive. Secretary Davis,
Yes.
Ms. McFadden,
Yes.
Mr. McGee,
No.
Mr. Neal,
A yes is to deny, just,
yes.
a yes is to deny, a no is to approve.
Mr. Clayton,
Yes.
Mr. Loder,
Yes.
and Vice Chair Reynolds.
No.
Application denied.
Yeah, you could sorry.
Motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.